Welcome, everybody, to this ClickCreate Curator Spotlight. This month, we have Echoes of Home, curated by Mannay. What was the inspiration for this curation's theme?
The thing that I'm the most curious about just in general is the way that people's brains work. And so I'm always trying to think of questions or discussion points to have with people to bring out the inner workings of their minds. And I think that it's a group of artists whose minds I am fascinated by and I think quite beautiful. And Echoes of Home is kind of a super subjective theme. I think it could really go in a bunch of different directions, and it did. And yeah, that was what I was trying to achieve. So I'm really happy.
What narrative do you hope to convey with this curation?
That the human experience is as unique as it is universal.
Why did you choose to curate with ClickCreate?
I think that brands are only as memorable as the people behind them, and I have been continually impressed and inspired by the people behind ClickCreate. And I'm a firm believer in getting involved where you see something that is aligned with your values, and I think that you guys are super aligned with my values. So when the opportunity came up to get involved, it was kind of just a no-brainer.
How did you select this month's artist?
I decided on the theme first, and I probably didn't go too far outside my comfort zone when I decided on the theme. It's something that, is something that sort of easily fits within my realm of the realm of my work. But I decided on the theme probably 2 or 3 months before I started actually discussing it with any artists. And I just sort of sat back and observed and, looked at the people looked for people who I thought would take that theme somewhere really interesting.
How did the artist's individual styles contribute to the central theme?
The most meaningful contribution, because like I said, the theme was really designed to just bring out this subjective and nuanced approach to the concept of home in general. So I think the most meaningful contribution that I could have asked for was for each of those artists to really dig deep and think about what that meant to them, how it felt to them, and then translate that into an image. And every single one of them did exactly that.
How does Anton invoke nostalgia with his unique perspective?
Anton's work has always made me feel seriously nostalgic for places that I have almost certainly never been. That's something that I probably try and chase in my own work, to try and, make people feel a connection to somewhere that they've definitely never been. So Anton's style, the storytelling, and just everything about his work has always spoken to me. And it's also obviously very beautiful.
How does Gina's process allow the viewer to tell their own story?
So I have this interesting connection with Gina where we recognize each other's work, I think, in a way that other people don't necessarily recognize our work. And Gina's, I think, first of all, it's, her background is incredible. She's got this rich history in art education. She's learned from these Chinese painting masters, and the story of it is just incredible. The work is obviously incredible to look at. but it's really subjective, I think, which is something that, you know, I was going for with this theme, and being able to look at her work. She allows the viewer to tell their own story in the way that she paints. And when I look at her work, I can see a landscape in it, or I can see this like subjective, beautiful, just like flowing, I don't know, it's masterful.
How does Mannay tap into the fundamental experience of being human?
I think that Mannay is wildly underrated in this space. There is something that speaks directly to me about his work. It's very often centered around landscape, and landscape art generally does sort of call out to me, but it just feels very, I'm not sure what word to use other than like fundamental to who I am as a person, and it feels to me fundamental to who he is as a person. Like, the work has always felt very authentic to me, and it's masterful. He's an incredible talent, and I think he puts a lot of storytelling and himself into his work, and that's obviously something that I really look for as well.